Biden thinks he can come to Atlanta and not be protested for the crimes against humanity that he has committed. He is dead wrong. Shame! Shame on Joe Biden!
Nothing sacred to these people. This protest went down outside Rosalind Carter's funeral today. And now at a time when I think we need a politics-free Christmas more than ever, they're gearing up to disrupt tomorrow's Rockefeller Center tree lighting. That's going to win them a lot of friends. And last night they took over a city council meeting in Denver. Why? Because they didn't want the Jewish National Fund to hold a conference in the city. One activist compared Denver's hosting the group to hosting a fundraiser for Nazi Germany. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, the political fallout for Biden on this issue among young people continues. Citing both the bad economy and Biden's foreign policy, voters ages 18 to 34 are turned off by what the White House has done. And the far left, which turned out big for Biden in 2020, has done a full-on embrace in some cases of Hamas. And the White House was caught off guard by comments like this.
If Hamas is a terrorist organization, then IDF is a terrorist organization. IDF is a bigger terrorist organization, if you ask me.
You believe the Israeli retaliation to the Hamas attack is a genocide? What would you say to those who say Hamas provoked this?
That's absolutely lie. There's no evidence that Hamas attacked.
Israel killed their own people.
Absolutely.
My next guest went viral for his own speech calling Israel's response a genocidal attack on Gaza. Joining me now, Dr. Cornel West, 2024 independent presidential candidate. Dr. West, great to see you as always. Now, you and I disagree, I know, on a lot of issues, but I think we can have a pretty constructive conversation here. So let's start with just the basics. Do you think atrocities were committed against innocent civilians by Hamas terrorists on October 7th?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you kill innocent people, my dear sister, that's a war crime. There's no doubt about that. It's in the context of 75 years of a very vicious Israeli domination and occupation. But anytime you kill innocent people, it's wrong. When you kill civilians, those are war crimes no matter who does it. But that's true whether the U.S. Army does it, whether Hamas does it, whether the IDF do it, whether the Russian Army does it. We have to have some moral consistency here.
Right. So at that point, when those crimes occurred, what should Israel have done?
Well, I mean, I can't run this. I think Israel should have ended the occupation a long time ago and treat Palestinians with dignity.
Okay, but just stay on that question, though, if you don't mind, Professor West. Okay, well, let's stay on the question, though. These crimes, which you concede occurred, what might have happened before, I understand your views on that, but then what? Like, if someone came into your house and did that to your family, you would want them to be, obviously justice to be done. In this case, Hamas hides among the civilian population. We know that. That's one of their tactics. So what should Israel have done in this case?
Well, again, I think it's a matter of trying to get at the root of it. There must be responsibility and accountability for war crimes. There's no doubt about that. That's true for the Palestinians who've been killed every day for over 75 years. That's true for Israelis who were killed on October the 7th. There has to be some accountability and responsibility. But you can't jump into this, my dear sister, without understanding the larger context and backdrop. Because if we don't get to the root of this vicious Israeli occupation, we're going to have these cycles of hatred and violence going on and on and on. That's the real challenge. How do you move in such a way that you can accent the best in both folks, the Palestinians and the Israelis, and how do you do that? You've got to end the occupation. It's like Nat Turner when he had the resistance against slavery, right? That he killed some innocent white folk, he was wrong, but slavery had to go, or you were going to have cycles of that over and over again. That's why these brothers and sisters here who are putting their lives on the line, there's something that's positive about that. They see a genocide taking place. We got to do something about it.
Okay, so it almost sounds, I know you would do that, but it almost sounds like you're saying you can explain what they did on October 7th because you believe that Israel is occupying their territory and they had no other option? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when JFK said, my dear sister, that those who make violent revolution impossible, make violent revolution inevitable. That's JFK who says that. And you
JFK
can imagine any
in
other
favor of
politician saying that is true.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been in favor.
But
I mean,
in
not that
any
I'm trying to
place,
speak for anybody here,
the
but
Irish,
yeah,
the Dalits, across the board, anytime you have people under occupation and Gaza-like conditions, over time, it's going to spill over in an ugly way. Now, you know that just from history, right?
I think it's
you know that from history.
Well, by that way of looking at things, America should just dissolve today. We shouldn't even be a country. Because conquest is part of human history. Well, conquest is part of human history. Whether it's the American Indians were here first, they occupied the land first. So that conversation is circular, and it ends up meaning there are no countries in most of the world because at some point other people were living in those countries. But I want to shift gear because we're not going to be able to solve this problem now. But I want to shift gears to go to the presidential race. Let's go to the presidential race because I know you want to talk about that too. The regime media, as I call them, Dr. West, seems to be getting scared of you and other third-party candidates, that you're posing a threat to President Biden's reelection. MSNBC on Sunday, folks there said this.
Let's face it, folks. There are Americans out there who don't want to vote for Republicans and they don't want to vote for Democrats. And I don't doubt the people's preferences. But the chance of a third-party candidate actually winning the presidency in real life, it remains highly unlikely. Please tell me again how your vote doesn't matter. Folks, it does. Your vote is your voice.
Your response, Dr. West.
I think they have good reason to be afraid because anybody who wants to speak the truth, when you have a regime in power that denies the truth, anybody who seeks justice, who runs away from justice, they ought to be afraid. But that's for the Republican Party and that's for the Democratic Party. Both of them shot through with corruption, shot through with mendacity, shot through with too many lies. And I'm just trying to stand for truth and justice, my dear sister. As a fallible, finite human being, that's what I'm standing for, and that's what I'm going to live and die for.
Well, Dr. West, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.